Give Mr. Hampton a round of applause.
So I chose this mic because it's more about you today than it is about me. So I'm going to be asking questions on both sides. So if we can get, is it possible for another person to do something, one more person? Lady with the all running here. Right there. Give her a hand. Okay, so my name is Chris Hampton. I'm a motivational speaker. I deal with motivational leadership. And I also will be the one who will be interviewing Mr. Wise tomorrow. This is a great opportunity because it's kind of different when you see things on TV, when you hear things on the radio, but when you have someone who actually lived through it standing in front of you, it hits you a different way. How many of you were really impacted by what you saw over the past couple of days when you were watching this movie? Okay? Were there a lot of emotions? I mean, what are some of the emotions that you experienced? You said that. Speak mine.
Anger.
All right. Who I saw hands in the back on this side? Let me see your hands. Were y'all just all angry? What was that?
I felt as though like some of it could have been handled better if they knew like the right motion.
So how do you put that into a feeling? Frustration. Okay. Let me see some hands on this side. I saw some hands up. Gentleman right there in the red. You felt hurt. Okay. So you felt the pain. Okay. And essentially what happened was, when you basically look at it, wrong place, wrong time, right? And I want y'all to think about that throughout the whole entire time we're talking today. Wrong place, wrong time. That was one of the lessons that I got out of it. When I got out, I was angry. Especially, it took me a long time just to get through the first part of the movie. It took me a long time because I have kids, and I remember being the kid, right? And to have someone in a position of authority who's supposed to be trying to find justice calling me a wild animal. Did y'all see that part? How did that make y'all feel? I mean, were you feeling some kind of, they were supposed to be looking out for you, but they're calling you wild animals, and they're trying to find out who did it. But when they put it in that perspective, do you think that it kind of clouds? How does that make the vision when they already have an idea of what the person should be? You understand what I just asked? So how does that make you feel when someone has a foggy view of you already? Mike.
It makes me feel like mad and angry and like upset because it's like you don't know me and you're just judging me on how I look and what color I am. So that already gives me like, wow, you're just judging me. You don't know how I am. You don't know where I came from, what I've been through. Just because I'm this color or how I talk or something, you're judging me by that.
Okay. And that was back in 1989. Okay, nobody's born. Teachers, anybody born in 1989? Right, that was 1989. I was, where was I? I was in, I think, junior high at 1989. So that's back in 1989. Do you think that that's real and that this could happen today? Yeah, can I hear that? Yeah, listen. I'm rejecting this. What does this mean right now? That means quiet. For the next 45 minutes, we're allowed to talk. As long as it's with the, I'm going to put the parameters. As long as it deals with this. Okay? So you're free to talk now. Okay? So you're free to put your input in because this is about you and what you get out of this and what you walk out with your mind. So I want to see what lens that you see this movie through. So what did I just ask for? What was someone about to say about what I just asked? Yes. So stand up if you're going to do something.
I was so scared because you're so young and
through authorities and police and everything, and you're basically being racially, profiled. At that young age, I would be scared and terrified. You know, that was their whole life.
I'm an adult, and that's it. I'm going into the police office in that area. I'm scared just going to pay a traffic ticket. I am being in there in the wrong place at the wrong time. I would be worried, but to be a victim, to be accused of that type of crime, I definitely. As young people, let me ask you this: do you feel as young people that you have rights?
Yes.
Is that up? Let me see by a show of hands. How many of you know you have rights? Okay. How many didn't know they had rights? Okay. So we watch enough Law and Order SVU that we know what the Miranda rights are. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to okay. Anything that you say can be in the court of law. Okay. Everybody has those three rights. It's amazing that y'all know this, and y'all were the same age, and it just kind of shows you the society that we're in right now, that y'all know this. But back then, I don't think we knew that. So you're like, how do you know that? But you have rights. And what rights were, how do we say, violated? Basically violated from this movie that we were watching. What rights were violated? All right. I need some different people. The mic is not working.
Having your parent in the room while you're being
Stand up. Tell me to stand up.
Having your parent in the room while you're being questioned.
Okay. And that was important. So not only is that you have a right to have somebody with you. So in that situation, they were isolated. And do you think somebody who's 14, 15, 16, what are the ages in this room today? 14 to 18. So we have a mature, so you can vote at what age? Okay, so we got some people that got some extra power in the room. 18-year-olds, okay? So they were isolated. How do you think you would feel as a 14-year-old spending hours, not just 2 hours, 3 hours, 9, 42? What was the hours? They said it was like
48.
It was a long time.
48 hours.
Yeah, it was a long time. How, without your mom and your dad being in the room, how would you feel? Let's see. Right here. Take the mic.
You will feel overwhelmed with all the questioning, the police attacking.
Do you think you would be easily confused?
Yes.
That was some heavy stuff they were putting on. I think the majority of it, if we walk out today with the understanding that you have rights and that you don't get caught, listen, don't, and they say that, as I was researching it, they were saying that you can waive your rights. So they could talk you into waiving your rights, right? Don't waive your rights. You don't make no decision until what? Somebody is in that room. What two people do you want in the room? Let me get on somebody on this side. What two people do you want in the room?
A lawyer and your parent.
Your lawyer and your parent. And this might seem basic, but I don't think there probably would have been a movie if we got to the point of saying that you have a right to remain silent. Okay? What are some of the things that you got out of this movie? And that's what I want to hear. So, all right, I got like 5 questions before I can come back and answer it. So someone help her out. What did you get out of this movie? My white people can't be the ones answering the questions, all. All right, what's in your hand? I want to see some different hands. I see all the leaders in the room, so let me see some different hands. Did you?
From watching the show, I gotta we should all know our rights, no matter what. I feel like we should all, if our parents don't educate us, we need to educate ourselves. Don't rely on anyone. You need to learn to fend for yourself no matter what, and also don't follow the leader. Don't play a follower, be the leader, because the first episode, everybody followed the crowd. It could have been prevented if they didn't follow that crowd. So,
Wow, that's important right there. What do you think about that whole mob mentality of they were calling it? That behavior gave the media and the police an excuse to form a narrative. Do you know what that means, what I just said? What did I just say? Can someone break down what I just said? It gave an excuse for the police and the media to do what? To do what? To create a story, to paint a picture. What is there's a responsibility for our media to report the news, but when you look at how the media does, the media has a lot of power because they can formulate the picture in your mind of what the truth is supposed to look like, right? And what I want you to be in here is more of critical thinkers, people that are able to think through the situation beyond someone telling you what the picture is to be. If you look at your media stations today and turn on any channel, I can tell what your political thinking is, I can tell what your personal beliefs are, just by what you watch and how you tell me what channel you're on. If you're CNN, if you're Fox, I can tell automatically where you're going to. Why? Because each side paints a specific picture. And what we need you to do is to be able to see beyond that as the next generation. Because you can easily be manipulated into thinking a certain way. How were they manipulated into thinking a certain way? What was an example? I'm not ignoring you. I got you. I see you.
they were kids.
They were. Okay, so that's another section. So what I want to talk about was how they were manipulated. So so you're correct. I understand what you're saying. So if someone's beating you, so if their confession was coerced that way, media-wise, let me make it more specific. Media-wise, how was it hijacked that way? And I got a perfect example in my mind, but I want to see if you can pull it out. Right here in the end.
Persuaded.
Stand up.
Said like if they go home, I mean, if you want to go home, say this.
Okay.
And other stuff.
So that was how their testimony was persuaded. Okay. So how about when the media put President Trump, who was now back then Mr. Trump? Did you see how he affected the media conversation? What was he calling for?
A death sentence.
A death sentence, right. That's kind of big, right? Now, can you imagine being, again, your age, convicted of a crime that you didn't do, and everybody screaming at you, kill him? How would that make you feel? And I got you in the back. Well, let's go you first. So bring the mic back to the gentleman in the back.
You would feel scared, worried.
Like nobody's got your back. I'm in prison. These guys in jail now, and that's the narrative: is kill me, kill me, kill me. What else?
I would feel
Good. Use the mic.
I feel nerve-wracking.
All that stress.
But I'd be scared, but people don't even know me, they gonna be dead.
And if you're seeing that on the news every day, people who believe the news are going to do what? They're going to believe it. So you hear it every day that it's black, 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 black. What color is it? And then that's exactly what happens. They beat it every day. You look at it, the news cycle today. All you hear is Trump, 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 Trump. Who am I talking about?
Trump.
So the narrative is being created. The narrative is being painted. And now, in this society, you are guilty until proven. But are you really? Because people made up their mind about them before the trial even happened. That's frustration. That's fear. So that's what Mr. Korey Wise went through. Do you still think this is happening in the present? That's a good question. Do you still think this is happening today? Yes. So, I want to share a story just to show you how easily it could happen in where I was, and I'm sure you can share a story of how it happened to you. See, that's my cousin back there, but we went to high school together, right? And back in the day, we used to have those boys and men groups that used to sing in harmony, and we used to be kicking it, like, guys, the old school station now, they jealousy. Those were our people, right? So here we are about to sing during a talent show. So we got up there, we sang during the talent show, we kicked it out, good. Right after we got up there, some knuckleheads, a rap group that were rapping. And then here they are in our high school, and they were rapping, and they were doing their thing, and then they started throwing nickel bags out into the audience. They used to have the little dime bags, nickel bags, and they had nickels in them. And it started a riot right in the middle of the thing. So the police were called. We're all outside in front of the school. The police are coming to deal with the situation, and the riot's still going on. My brother's here, and the riot's there. My brother's going where? To the riot. So where am I going after? To the riot. To get my brother. Okay. Shots fired. Now this didn't happen. But shots fired. Police officer gets shot. My brother gets picked up. I get picked up. Everybody gets picked up. Could that easily have happened? Could the end result could have been the same, right? How many can say of a situation where that can happen to you? Someone gets shot right outside the building. Where are you going to? What's the right answer? I heard somebody say home. Somebody said home. But how many of y'all would have went shots fired and y'all run to the boat? Y'all don't think of it like that. But I see on the thing all the time, there's a crowd of people. Okay, it's not a shot fired. You see a fight. Where are you going during the fight? Y'all honestly said that, right? During the fight. During the fight, someone gets cut. You don't notice someone got cut. But where are you running to? To the fight. It could easily be. And what I want you to see is Mr. Wise is coming tomorrow. He wasn't even supposed to be there. I mean, he went. He could be me, because that's something I would probably do. To make sure my boy goes in and they treat him right, and I'm spending 13 to 15, well, he's out 13, but 15 years sentence. We're doing the right thing. So, those are the things I want you to see with Mr. Wise. You just watched his suffering in that last video. What did you think about that? What do you think about what Mr. Wise went through?
That it was injustice and it wasn't fair to him or his family.
Okay. You gotta stand up when you talk. What's your name back here? You have to you stand up. Okay, so you got light me.
I think he felt hurt, like, and he didn't know what to do.
And by himself. Could you imagine not having your mom there to be able to visit you?
I think he should.
Yeah. Do you think that young people should be going to an adult prison?
No.
Okay? That's something that's a real thing that they're trying to change now. is that adult people are not supposed to go into an adult prison. So we're working on those things to jump a certain justice process. Let me ask you this, what are some questions that you're gonna have tomorrow? I wanna see that. So let me see ninth grade hand. Ninth grade? So ninth grade hand. All right, so let me hear some of these questions. Yeah, go ahead.
One of my questions was, was his dad really couldn't read, or was he just scared that his money
Okay.
My question was it that he couldn't read, or was it that he was scared, so he didn't want to see or read?
Well, remember going to, he probably said it to you a little bit differently, but if you look at he was skipping school a lot, so he wasn't there, and you know how it is growing up with people now. There's people that are in high school right now that don't necessarily have a good reading level, right? He got his GED when he was in prison, so that's a good question. Another question?
Knowing what he went through, then, and looking back on it, if he rates a child that's in a predicament or that wasn't in a predicament, what's that advice that he would give to them?
Very good. Okay. Another question? Young lady right here. Stand up. Y'all gotta pass the mic so we can hear. Ninth grade? Are we still ninth grade? What grade are you? Senior? Okay, senior. Just let me know what grade you're in so I can know.
I want to ask him, I think I met him when I was speaking to his daughter at
Okay. That's good. Why do you think that would be important? Okay. Now, did you remember in the video that she didn't have much of a memory of it? So she had. Now that's another victim of this. The main victim of the crime of all this, because again, she didn't even know what was going on. So she couldn't even defend them or judge them because she couldn't remember. But that's still a good question, and I think there's an answer to that. This side. Yeah, young man in the blue, next to you. What grade?
And if I got the person, if he were still in the job with his girlfriend, would he go with his friends again?
That's a question I would love to hear. Because I think I'm going to ask that question. Say it again. What grade are you? Okay.
And if he was with his girlfriend and was out eating, would he go with his friends again?
That was good. Yeah. What grade?
10.
Okay.
My question would be if he could change anything from his past, like from that day, what would he change?
Okay. That's a good question. Grade?
I have two. Can I say two?
Yes. Let me hear.
Okay. The first one would be with all the obstacles that he's come across in the situation, the entire situation. Which specific obstacle was the first? And the second one, with all of them getting their sentences and how long they got sentenced and where they're being sent to, how did he feel about that got sentenced? Adult time, right? How did he feel getting adult time?
Oh, so so basically, so how did you feel getting the adult time?
How did you feel getting the adult time while everyone else?
Got you. That's it. Over here, somebody different than you, then you stand up. Tell me what your grade is.
If you could ask anything
Good question. Linda Fairstein. If you could ask Linda Fairstein. Say that one more time. If you could ask Linda Fairstein a question, what it would be? What would it be? That was the prosecutor. That's a really good grade.
My question for him would be, did you get a chance to meet Trisha.
Okay.
And what was it like when you heard her?
So that was the victim, so that was similar to her.
Yeah, the one that
Okay.
got raped.
Okay, so that was similar to her question. Good. We have all grades yet?
Oh,
12th grade, how much was the 12th grader? What's this going to say? Right here with the glasses? Good questions, guys. Those are the interview for me.
As a senior, have you had any interactions with people since your life has changed? If so, how do you feel still be at?
Okay, so that's good. So we're going to try to keep the questions short. Also, there's a hearing issue, so you have to make sure that you're using the microphone. Okay? And, all right, so do we have 9th, 10th, 11th? We have 11th grade? Do we have any 11th grade questions? So we have 11th, we have 9th, we have 10th, we have 11th, we have 12. Okay, last question, and we're going to wrap this up. Is this good for y'all? Have this discussion? Okay, cool. So, I want you to think about this, please, how you can make a difference. And one of the things that I'm big on, one of the things that I am big on is that you can make a difference now. And one of the things that you can do making a difference now is choosing not to be silent when things like this are happening. Okay? And then I also want you to think of your life with your future in mind. We need that. Just because you saw a bad, quote unquote, bad prosecutor, doesn't mean that all prosecutors are bad. So just because you see bad media, doesn't mean all media is bad. So how can you see yourself making a difference in these different positions, whether it's a correction officer? Did you see in the movie how there were different correction officers that treated Korey totally different? And you notice that it was one of our own that was treating him bad versus the white correction officer that was trying to build him up and help him out. Where do you fall? Are you the good, or you are the one that's adding more hurt in the situation? Things like that. How many of you want to be in law? I can see law enforcement all over y'all. How many of y'all want to be in media, like journalism? Or on the rights of journalism? Okay. Where do you see yourself fixing that problem? You don't even have to be a lawyer to fix the problem. Yes. Mike, say hi.
I was seeing myself, what my teacher had told us upstairs was not to just judge on what you see, but to follow through it and to have more evidence of what's going on, not by just the witnesses, and go on your own and think of it in your mind and see if you was in that thinking or what you do and see why other people do it.
Becoming a critical thinker. You have to be able to take more than what's on the surface. So I want you to take away with that in mind. When Korey comes, I want him to feel the love that we have in Camden. I want you to treat him as he's your brother, because he is your brother. Okay? Understand the trauma that he's gone through, and see that we have gone through similar traumas in our life. And this is his chance of being able to expose himself to you, because he wants to make a deposit in you that will change your direction, so that you don't have to see what he went to see. Okay? So I thank you, Big Picture Learning Center, Learning Academy, for inviting us in. Thank you, Principal Tinky, for allowing us to have this conversation. And I hope that you will enjoy this opportunity, and you can really learn something from today, the week that we've had, and the interview with Korey. And we just want to thank you, and just give you a round.